Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. In this video, we are looking at open picks for this weekend. We have a major over in Royal St. George's. We have a couple of monster tournaments on Draftkings, so let's get started with the picks. As always, appreciate if you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you have not already. Have a bunch of the top players in this field, as you would expect in any sort of major. Jon Rahm is the odds-on favorite at plus 800 now. I don't think I would put any money on him at that sort of price tag on this, just because this field is just so tough. And anytime you get a golfer under 1,000 in terms of outright before the start of the tournament, I just kind of hesitate. So even though I like Jon Rahm in terms of DFS, I don't think I'll have him in any betting market or anything like that. Some of the guys that I do like here in the top end, if you wanted to play anybody in the 10K range, I would take a hard look at like Rory McIlroy. I know he struggled recently, but I like McIlroy more than Dustin Johnson, just based on how he's done at this course. He missed the cut the last time he played here in 2019, but the previous 3 years he finished inside the top 5 all 3 years. Missed the cut last week at the Scottish Open, but was making cuts before that. Just a tough kind of day for him in round 2. Wasn't able to get some birdies, missed some easy putts. But before that, he was doing fine. Normally, you expect Rory to show up in these majors, and I have no problem paying 10-9 for him if you want it to be a little bit different. So he's one guy that I look at in the 10K range. I like him a lot more than Dustin Johnson, who we saw him play look like the best player in golf for much of the 2020 season. Hasn't really been that case this year. He just hasn't been playing as many tournaments after he won the Masters, and the tournaments that he has played, he hasn't cracked a top 10 in quite some time. So he's just not in the best of form right now. So I'm definitely not that interested at 10-4 in one of the toughest events, in one of the toughest courses as well. Schauffele, we know he always finishes second and third, just like Tony Finau. Hard for him to get over the hump. Maybe that happens this week. I'm not overly confident in that, but in terms of DFS, he's super consistent. Normally, he'll crack out a top 10 pretty easily in the majors. Majors, sometimes he'll get in like the 20s, 30s, but I expect him to make the cut. Be surprised if he doesn't make the cut here. And we can always see him try to make a push over the weekend. Good shot to get inside the top 10. He has 8 top 10s, which is tied for second behind Jon Rahm so far this year. In the 9K range here, I think there's a bunch of good options here. I'm not that interested in Bryson. I think Bryson normally in bombers kind of courses, you like to go to a guy like Bryson, but this course, if you hit the ball too far, if you make some sort of mistake, it's going to cause you to make like a double or triple at times. So Bryson, even though he can hit the ball a mile, I think I'm going to rely on some guys that I know will get in the fairway, and hopefully they have some good iron plays and kind of can get onto the green and give themselves a shot for birdies. That's not really Jordan Spieth's game either, because we see him spray the ball all over the field as well. But I have a little bit more confidence in Jordan Spieth right now than Bryson. Bryson, caddy change, just not missing the cut at the Rocket Mortgage, also not the best of events. Whereas Jordan Spieth, he's at a very good price tag, $9,700. He's also done very well at this course, so he's finished inside the top 30 since 2016. And we've seen him just play some of his best golf recently. It's been a couple months. It was kind of in the spring where he really popped up, but he's had a first, third, ninth, second, lots of top 10s, lots of top 20s. He's making cuts. He's making pushes over the weekend. So I have a lot of confidence in Jordan Spieth, especially at $9,700. I can save $1,600 from Jon Rahm. Allows me to pay up for another couple of stars. So that's kind of the approach that I like. The 9K range is absolutely loaded. You also have Justin Thomas here, but I love Louis Oosthuizen just because we know he always shows up at majors. The only problem is that he finishes second or third, but if he finishes second or third this week, that's fine in terms of DraftKings. Maybe if you bet him outright, that would suck for you. But second at the U.S. Open, second at the PGA Championship, he's due for a first-place finish here, or first-place finish at any sort of major. Just a very solid player, doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's a super good putter. We've seen him make that big eagle a few weeks ago. Just a very solid player, makes the cuts, good shot to finish high if he makes the weekend, which I do expect him. So at a very good price tag, I'll take Spieth. I'll take Oosthuizen. Makes me feel very good about getting a couple guys in the 9K range. You also have Victor Hovland, Tyrrell Hatton here. I like Hatton probably a little bit more than Hovland, but he's also in the mix. The 8K range is also pretty strong. You have Cantlay at 89. You have Patrick Reed at 88. I prefer Cantlay over Reed. And then for the cheaper plays in the 8K range, we have some other really good options here. I really like getting to Justin Rose. I don't think that many people will be on him this week, but he's done well. He's done well at this course recently, finishing inside the top 35 the last 4 years. Overall, he's been playing a little bit better golf. He's missing some cuts as well, but finishing 8th at the PGA Championship was nice. He's had a couple of top 10s at the Masters, at the PGA Championship, a couple of majors. Maybe he can make a push again. Good price tag at only 8,000, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if he makes a push, finishes inside the top 5 maybe this weekend, maybe even wins it outright. So I got to give some love to Justin Rose. Also like Webb Simpson, just for the fact that he's super affordable. Normally don't expect Webb Simpson to be this cheap. It's been because he hasn't been playing a ton of golf recently. Only has teed it up 2 times since the end of May, but in those 2 times he's missed a cut, so kind of reason why his price tag has come down. In this sort of major, I think probably getting ready for his game a bit. I have pretty good confidence that he'll finish well this week, and I don't mind taking a shot on him at 83. So him and Justin Rose are my 2 guys that I like in the lower 8K range. Upper 8K range, it's Patrick Cantlay. In the 7K range, we have a few options here. You have Shane Lowry, who won this tournament back in 2019. Before that, he didn't really look like he had any shot of winning, just based on his course history here. But besides that 2019 win, he won that by like 7 or 8 strokes at least. But I think people are going to play him. I think I'd rather go to like a Lee Westwood, who's pretty consistent. He's seen this course many, many times over the course of his 20-plus year career, so he has some experience. Normally, experience will help in this type of course where, if you have a tough lie, the guys with experience will know how to get out of it more than guys that are making their debuts at this event. And then the cheapest guy that I really like in the 7K range is like Daniel Berger, 74. I also liked Ricky Fowler a bit, and Thomas Dietrich. They're 3 guys that I like. Dietrich as just a GPP play after finishing his 2 top 2 finishes the last 4 weeks. The other 2 he missed a cut, but he had a good shot to win the Scottish Open, finishing behind Min Woo Lee in the playoff. But he could have won that tournament if they didn't. If you guys were watching, they blew the horn right as he was putting for like a 4-footer, and he missed that. So that was, I don't know if that was fully to blame, but definitely blowing a horn right as you're on your backswing isn't going to help make any sort of short putts. But Dietrich's been playing pretty good golf. He's still looking for his first win, and I don't think people will play him in this sort of tough event. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has a good showing. But Berger, I think, is a much safer play just because he plays routinely on the PGA Tour. We know he has good top 10 shot or good top 10 upside. He makes cuts. He can make a push over the weekend. He's had multiple wins, unlike Thomas Dietrich. So for that reason, Daniel Berger, I would probably lean to over Dietrich, but I wouldn't mind taking a shot on both of those guys. And Harris English will probably get some love just because he's been playing amazing golf. He's one of the few that has won twice so far this season, and he has a couple of top 3s in his last couple starts. So I think Harris English will get some ownership. If you want it to be different, you can go to Berger, or you can go to Fowler, or you can go to Dietrich. There's a couple of other guys that I'm looking at. And that's about it for the DraftKings side. In the 6K range, I'm not really looking too heavily at anybody. I mean, I would sprinkle in maybe some of like Ryan Palmer just for some of the veteran, just for some of his experience that he has at this course. But really, overall, I don't think I need to go too much in the 6K range. I really like sticking in the 9K range here, getting a couple guys in the 9K range, getting a couple of guys in the 8K range, and maybe filling it out with a 7K guy or 2. So that is it for the DraftKings side. I will touch on the FanDuel plays. So on FanDuel, it's very similar. The picks, Spieth, Oosthuizen, Rose. I love their price tags. Oosthuizen is a little bit more expensive than he is on a little bit more expensive than he is on DraftKings. But overall, I just love the upside that Louis brings on every single major. Justin Rose, like him at $9,800 as well, just because. And looking at that range here, you have like Fitzpatrick, who is viable, but you have Berger at 10K, so I'd rather go to Justin Rose. You have Lowry at 98. Still kind of like Justin Rose, even though Lowry did win this event last time they played here. But besides that, the 9K range isn't super strong, so give me Justin Rose. I like Ricky Fowler. He's done well at this course. He's been playing a little bit better golf recently, so hopefully he has some upside. Can maybe make a push at this major. But 94 for him, I don't really mind getting to that. And then the 8K range here on FanDuel is completely different. There's not a ton of good options here, so probably on FanDuel I like to stick in the 9K, 11K, maybe throwing some 10K guys here. But maybe I look to like Matt Wallace, Dietrich, Willett, just some cheap guys in the 8K range that do have a little bit of upside. So that's about it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Best of luck this week, and I'll see you all next time.